So, lads, this is not good. Caitlin Clark is injured, and it's not good for anyone. It's not good for anyone. And we will be having updates here. We'll be making every single update. We'll be talking about it non-stop because this is going to be news, updates, how the Fever are getting on. All of this is going to be relevant. You're not going to find more talk than that about that from anywhere here. So if you could subscribe, be greatly appreciated. We're trying to hit 50k as soon as possible. We are like 60 subscribers at 47.6k. So yeah, that is our goal by the end of the day. But Caitlin Clark suffered a quad injury. I can't believe that I've seen that. We were like, oh, a fully rested Fever team. That's what everyone was saying. It was like a fully rested Fever team are going to be facing off against the they're going to be facing off against the Mystics, and Caitlin Clark's going to be healthy. Caitlin Clark hasn't been healthy this year. Caitlin Clark has been moving in slow motion. As good as she's been moving in slow motion. And it is, it makes sense. It genuinely makes sense. All of this stuff. And you've got Scott Agnes, a reporter, saying that the injury has been bothering her since training camp. So she's been playing. So essentially, she was massaging the area and wearing a pad during the Iowa preseason game. They were saying lower leg injury for some reason. Minor quad strains need 2 to 4 weeks of rest, and they can nag you. And the reality is that she could probably play through it, but there's just no point. Why play her then? It would explain her sudden drop in shooting. She was 50% through 2 games. But like, she's been hurt. And it's clear. It's clear she was hurt. It's clear watching her play from preseason that Caitlin Clark was hurt. And I understand playing her against the Sky. But like, when she was getting mauled against a Dream, and it makes sense now playing her off the ball. Maybe it makes sense. Because loads of people that were at the Dream game, the one where Atlanta won in Indiana, they were saying it was like Caitlin Clark looked within 3 minutes didn't look right in that game. They were like, I got DMs from people at the games telling me stuff from games, and they all were telling me Caitlin Clark did not look right. They didn't say she looked injured. They said she looked exhausted. They were like she was kind of struggling to move. There was a lot of times she could have maybe cut and moved, and she chose not to. So that kind of makes sense. And she was playing 37 minutes a game. Like, she's playing 35, 37 minutes a game because the team couldn't function without her. And maybe that could be part of it as well. Maybe that could be part of it, that it's like she is realistically, she's not going to be able to take a rest. She's not going to be able to rest. None of this is good. And like, the team not having a backup did not help her. She was carrying some sort of a quad strain. And all the videos that like of preseason, all the videos of preseason where it's like you could see Caitlin Clark doesn't want to not play. And you've also now got an NBA training staff who are going to be as cautious as possible. And I don't think people realize how cautious like NBA training staffs are. They could not care less. Their whole goal is to make sure a player is right for the end of the season. That is their whole goal. And it makes the off-ball experiment make sense now. It makes perfect sense. And like, this team is going to really, really struggle. But at the end of the day, Caitlin Clark being out hurt is not good for anyone. It's not good for the Fever. Not good for myself as a content creator. But at the end of the day, in terms of all of those things, obviously the fans are the least, or not even the fans, the content creators are the least important. You go to the fans, then you've got your leeches, you've got your Skip Baylesses, then you've got your Twitter spaces. You know, like, we're only ahead. We are only ahead of the people that are putting out they're threatening players, and the people on Twitter spaces. I will put myself slightly ahead of of the Sky fans' Twitter spaces. But I have to say, this is not something anyone wants to see, and it's not something that when it comes to the WNBA, that they would want to see. But at the end of the day, she was hurt already. Like, she was injured already. She was playing on 1.5 legs. Like, you could tell if you just watched her play last season. And everyone was like, oh, she put on up so much muscle that she's slow. Maybe the team played slow because Caitlin couldn't run. And look, if it is a minor quad strain, and look, she looked like she wasn't right, but she was still able to play, and she still played as one of the top 3 or 4 point guards in the WNBA. But for me anyway, I still think that Caitlin is, like, she's going to be fine long term. I think she's going to be fine. I think the fact she was able to play on the injury means it's probably an extremely minor quad tear. If she's only out for 2 weeks, it's an extremely minor quad tear. Like, if Caitlin Clark is only out for 2 weeks, it is very minor. Very, very minor. Like, there is no way that that the Indiana Fever or that, like, there's no way that they would say 2 weeks, and there's no way the Indiana Fever would have let her play on it if it was something major, but she was having heat packs on during games. When she was subbing off, she was massaging her leg. Like, it was clearly she had not been right for a while. And look, if it's gonna take 2 weeks for her to get it right, that's the most important thing. I don't understand why she played against the Atlanta Dream in preseason. Maybe she was letting on that she was better than she was because she wanted to play. And maybe those last 2 games, like, she just realized, you know what, I can't do this, I need a rest. She's a player who's never really been injured. So maybe it's just something, look, she got hurt. She thought she could play through it. She wanted to play through it. Try to like soldier on through it. I would assume she would play if this was a playoffs. This is the playoffs. This is later on in the year. She'd try to play. But look, there is no need, especially if she has a quad strain. Maybe it gotten worse. Maybe it had gotten worse after playing. Like, she was already playing with quad strain. Maybe because she didn't play that much in this preseason game. Maybe it had gotten worse against the Sky and the Dream, those Dream games. Maybe at the end of this game, she was like, it just wasn't worth it anymore. And especially because they are playing against a couple of weaker opponents. It might not be a bad time to get a rest. Maybe she needed that 2-week rest. Like, again, even the most minor of quad strains. Oh no. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. No, that's not right. That's not right. It's like, how can she have a quad injury where she is massaging her quad, injuring the same muscle twice, be unrelated? There's at least there's some slight relation. Like, they're saying it's a new injury. They're trying to avoid backlash. They're trying to avoid playing her on a quad strain. That's fine. They're trying to avoid playing her on a quad strain. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way, right? There's no way it's considered new if it's the same quad. They're not serious. How's a new injury in the same quad? It's been less than 2 weeks since a previous injury, and it's a minor quad strain. Like, and by the way, whenever she is on the bench, she is literally using heat packs on her quad. Like, there's no way it's the same coincidence, or at least it's partially. But yeah, I stand by this. This was an injury. She was playing on an injury. You can tell she was playing at 75% speed. She was not, like, she was a player that says she loves sprinting. Caitlin Clark has not gone. Caitlin Clark went into full sprint once this year. Maybe twice. I think maybe twice this year Caitlin Clark has gone into full sprint. As a player who just sprints everywhere, almost certainly is the same injury. But anyway, I'll see you guys.